Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review, and today we are featuring the Banished Ghost with Elite Warlord. This is a part of the World of Halo toy line, and it's from the Halo Infinite video game. So this is an older set. This came out back in 2020 when the line first debuted. The toy line was supposedly supposed to debut at the same time as the video game, but as we all know, the game got delayed for, I don't know, maybe like over a year. So what we have here is the Ghost. For me, it's long overdue to actually have this in my possession and review it. I kind of got into the world of Halo a little late. You know, the line was probably out for maybe, I want to say maybe at least a year before I, before I dove right in. One vehicle I really wanted was the Ghost, but for whatever reason, I could never find this in the shelves at the time. Maybe it's because I got into the line a little bit later. But I am excited to check this out. It adds another vehicle accessory to my army of the Banished and the Covenant. So far, I think the only vehicle Covenant forces have gotten so far in the world of Halo is, I want to say, the Shade Turret. I can't remember if there's anything else. Whereas like on the UNSC side, we've already gotten the Mongoose and Gungoose. We've gotten the Warthog and the Mantis. Alright, so let's get started. First off, it's a nice big box. The vehicle is proudly displayed in the window, minus the wings. It comes with an Elite Warlord right here. On the back of the box, much like the first few waves, the only thing we got was this Master Chief running. And I think this comes with 10 pieces. There's a sticker here. They felt the need to let you know there's 10 pieces inside of this box. Alright, so let's unbox this and get started. Alright, there's also an instruction manual. It's pretty self-explanatory. You attach the wings, and then there's kind of like, I'm not sure if these are flight stands or if these are like landing gears. Okay, so they're flight stands. Alright, so let's take these out. So it appears that the wings are actually two pieces. There's this inner part, which appears to be, I think, these might be the engines, I think. And then there's the wings. Two of the flight stands. Alright, so none of the flight stands are identical. This flight stand has two posts. These have one post apiece, and they're clearly marked. There's one that's marked for the left, which is this guy here. It's hard to see, but there's a letter L inscribed, and on this one there's a letter R inscribed right there. So this is for the right side, and this is for the left side. And I'm assuming this is for the back, I guess. Plasma sword for the Elite Warlord. You know, if you've been collecting this line, you've probably amassed a couple of these already. Okay, so here is, wow, that's awesome. All right, so here is the main chassis of the Ghost. We have the wings, and let's take a look at the figure real quick. If you've been collecting the line, you know, chances are you've handled an Elite figure already. Nothing new with this guy. Articulation's simple. His head rotate. It's on a ball joint. Some of the later Elite figures, like I think, it's not the Warlord. One of them, maybe it's the Mercenary. One of the Elite soldiers, they actually have, oh, it's the Elite Ultra. The neck, it has an additional piece of articulation. This guy's only a ball joint, but the Ultra has like a actual like swivel joint, which is really cool. Arms rotate. They go out like this. There's an elbow bend right there, elbow swivel, wrist articulation. There's a cut beneath the chest. Doesn't allow for a whole lot of motion though. And the legs, they're pretty articulated. You know, they're nice and long. They bend in multiple areas. And ankle articulation's kind of limited. Not a whole lot going on there. But the main attraction with this is the Ghost. And let's assemble it right now. Okay, so here's the body. This wing attaches. Alright, I want to make sure I get this right, because I'm not sure if once this is plugged in, if it's one and done, or, you know, I'm not sure if this is like necessarily something you could detach later. Maybe not. So I want to make sure I get this right. Wow, this is a tight fit. Alright, this does not want to plug in. I might be doing something wrong here. Okay. Make sure when you're plugging these in that these weapons here are situated right. Mine were kind of placed on upside down. So at the top of here, there's like a rim at the top of the socket, and there's actually a gap at the top right here and here. And you want to make sure that gap aligns with the tab that's on the top end of this piece. So you want to put that in, and it holds it nice and snug like that. And you want to do the same on both sides. Again, here's that tab. Make sure that tab slots in correctly in that little groove right here. And then they'll hold it in place. So these are not meant to rotate. These are going to be affixed permanently, so they're kind of just stationary. They're not going to move around. And then once you have those in place, you could attach the wings. For some reason, I want to say they look like they're backwards. No, but it's okay. And again, for these also, be mindful where this, towards the top where this this rim is, as you can see right there, there's a gap right here. And you want to make sure that the tab on the wing right there aligns correctly. It'll only go in one way, so it'll snap in place. And you repeat on the other side. There we go. So once it's in, it's in. You're not taking these out. So yeah, just you only get one shot at that. All right, so then for the display base, it's pretty simple. So for the flight stand, the one with the 2 posts goes on the back, and it's going to be situated like this, facing forward. And then these are going to be situated like this. But also remember that they're marked. One's left and one's right. This is the left one. And this is the right one. All right, so let's affix those. And these, you know, once you plug these in, you can remove them later. They're not like permanently attached, so which is nice. And they plug in pretty nice and easy. They're not, you don't have to force them in. It's a snug fit, but it's not too tight. And then you kind of have, it recreates this like floating effect. So yeah, they're kind of like, yeah, it kind of looks like it's floating. And here is the Elite Warlord. So what's cool is that this thing is retractable. So I'm assuming it's more so you can fit the different sizes of the aliens. Like the Elites, they have the really long legs. And let's position this guy in place. So the foot pedals are underneath right there. Here are the handlebars right there. All right, so yeah, like I mentioned, the foot pedals are right here. Handlebars are up there. You can retract it depending on the size of the figure. Like, for example, a grunt is really short, so chances are for the grunts and for the human figures, this is probably going to be pushed in all the way. For a larger figure like the Elite or maybe a Brute, you can pull this back. So let's try to see how easy it is to get this guy seated in there. It shouldn't be that bad. So I have his legs in place, and then I can just... Let's get this right. And then it just pushes forward. Whoops. Like that. Unfortunately, there's no pegs on the pedals, so it's, you know, it's not going to be super snug, but it's decent enough. I think if you could get the figure to actually hold the handlebars correctly, it'll work. But in this case, you know, we'll just kind of like this, pretend he's on here. Alright, it's going to be something like this. I mean, you get the point. So yeah, this is a really awesome vehicle. Now, my only one complaint with this is that for me, The Ghost, I'd prefer it if it was the much more iconic purple. But, you know, the red's the color that as it appears in Infinite. But for some reason, you know, whenever I think of Halo and the Ghost, I always remember the much more classic, iconic purple look of the vehicle. And McFarlane Toys, back when they had the license years ago, they actually made a Ghost, and that one was actually purple. And I think that one actually came with a purple Elite Soldier also. So I have his hands gripped onto the handlebars, and here's a profile view. As you can see, this looks really nice. Just check that out. That looks great. Nice profile. It looks awesome. You can get some really beautiful angles on this. Now, one of my favorite things about the World of Halo line, even though it's a 4-inch scale action figure line, like clearly the Spartan Collection, which is like a 6 or 7-inch scale figure line, that's clearly the superior product. But for me, the World of Halo line, the smaller 4-inch scale figures, it's more about nostalgia for me. Like every time I handle like one of these like vehicles or the action figures or the play sets, this takes me back to when I was younger with like the original like 1980s G.I. Joe, the Real American Hero line. Especially with the vehicles, like the minute I was handling like the Warthog or the Gun Goose, it just felt so much like it was like my childhood, and I was handling like one of the smaller Joe vehicles. Much like this, you know, handling this, it feels like, you know, back in the day when I'd play with like my G.I. Joes when I was a little kid. And this is just fantastic. The scale's nice, you know, even though it's a smaller scale at 4 inches, the figures are detailed well, they're articulated. I've run into a couple of, you know, quality control issues here and there, but for the most part, I think overall the toy line is just fantastic. And this vehicle just looks so fun. It's really cool. But like I said, I think for me the only gripe on this thing is that I kind of wish it was purple. If I could find one cheap, I might just get another one and paint it purple myself, or, you know, hopefully in the future Jazzwares, you know, chances are they'll double dip and they'll, you know, re-release this again, but like in a different color. So that's what I'm guessing. Alright, so how do I rate this thing on a scale of 1 to 10? For me, easy 10. This thing, it's fantastic. The sculpting, as you can see, is nice. The paint application's awesome. You know, it looks fantastic. I love how they put some thought into this and made this part retractable so it could like accommodate different sized figures. The flight stands, they're nice. They're easily removable. I would have preferred maybe a slightly much more transparent plastic, but I think the more transparent a plastic is, the more fragile it is. So this is, for me, this is good enough. And the figure is great also. It's really cool to get another Elite figure to my collection. Alright, so let's wrap this video up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for your support. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. Alright, later.